everybody, this is Danica and you're watching the very first video on my new YouTube channel, DIY with Danica. For my first project, I wanted to share with you guys something that I have been getting a lot of compliments on and a lot of questions about over the last few months. And with just 2 weeks into Halloween, I thought it would be something that you guys might want to try to create yourself. So for today, I'm going to be showing you how to create the crown of the Queen Mother of Wakanda, Ramonda. So I've decided that if I were to get 10,000 views, I will scroll through my list of subscribers and pick one lucky person to receive the hat that I make for today's tutorial. For this project, you're going to be needing the basics. You're going to need a glue gun. You're going to need your glue sticks. You're going to need scissors and a ruler. You're also going to be using foam. This foam is something that I picked up at my local fabric store. And this is going to form the structure of the part of the hat or crown that surrounds your head. You're also going to be needing some black suede fabric or faux suede. Oh, can you imagine how much suede would it cost? Faux suede. You're going to be using some ribbon. This is black satin ribbon, and the ribbon is 3/8 of an inch. It's about 10 yards here. And you are going to be taking this ribbon and braiding it into an intricate, beautiful, intricate braid that's going to be the trim on our crown. I'm not going to detail specifically how to make this braid in this video because this braid is instrumental in a number of the projects that I plan to share with you guys. However, I will be simultaneously uploading the video on how to make the braid, and it'll be really short and brief, and you can watch that to help you get this part of the project done. Next, you're going to be using a piece of elastic. I normally use a knee support that I get at the 99-cent store. However, they seem to have switched their brand and they only had gray. So for this project, I'm going to be repurposing an old belt that I was going to get rid of anyway. And I'm going to be using this elastic, and I'm going to be gluing that into the back of the hat so that it's adjustable for whomever receives this hat. You are going to be using 2 pieces of plastic mesh. This mesh can also be found at either your local sewing store or your local crafting store. You need 2 sheets, and we are going to actually be cutting this into strips. And last but not least, the thing that makes the whole hat, you will be needing a frying pan splash guard. This is the part that makes the back of the hat the actual crown portion of the hat. So our first step is going to be to take apart the frying pan splatter guard, which cost me 99 cents. Forgot to mention that. And easily done with your screwdriver. Now that you have taken apart your frying pan splatter guard, you want to position it on your piece of faux suede so that the edges can meet close to the center. So I'm going to cut on this end. I'm going to cut towards the center of the splatter guard. So there are strips now that are going around the perimeter of the splatter guard. Now this is the inside. The suede is facing the table. I'm going to take my glue gun and my glue. You're going to take one and you're going to fold it towards the center. Put some glue there to hold it in place. Pull it right towards the center. Then I take the opposite side and do the same thing. Pull that one towards the center, put some glue, hold it down. Okay. Then I'm going to take the other corner, gonna put a little bit of glue and maybe even some down here because I wanted to touch that silver part of the screen. Pull it towards the center, glue it down, and I'm going to take the opposite corner, which I think is this one. Put a little bit of glue on it, a little bit where it will touch the silver portion. Pull it towards the center, nice and taut. When you're done gluing all of the pieces towards the center, you should have something that looks like this. The next step you're going to need to do is to take your foam and to measure out a piece that goes around the circumference of your head. What I like to do is to either take a tape measure. If you don't have a tape measure that's specifically for sewing, then you can use a piece of your ribbon, which you can use to wrap around your head to give you a good guide for how much foam you're going to need. So take that, cut it, and then use that as your guide for measuring your foam. Once you have decided on the length that you want to use to go around your head, I want you to subtract 2 inches from that. Because as I stated earlier, we're going to fill part of the back of the hat with a piece of elastic, which will make it stretch. I've cut my foam. The measurements are about 23 inches by 5 inches. And that includes the 3 inches, I decided to go with 3, that I took off for the elastic. So you'll notice that this foam does not go around the entire circumference of my head. I have that gap space there so that I can fill that with a piece of elastic that's going to make the hat fit more comfortably for me. So just like we did with the frying pan splatter guard, we're going to center this piece of foam on some suede with the suede side facing down, and then we're going to cut, leaving a little bit around the edge, and then glue it, fold it in almost like you're wrapping a present. Okay, so now you have your 2 pieces, the top of the hat, the sides of the hat. Your next step is going to be to center the sides on the hat in a circular way, making sure you're not bringing the ends together because remember, we want to fill that space with a piece of elastic. So I would say to give yourself maybe about 2 inches from the edge. And you can eyeball that, no biggie. You don't want to be too close to the edge though, because the plastic strips that are gonna go up look better when they're going at an angle. So once you have this centered, then use your glue gun to glue this top piece to the sides. Okay, so now I have the basic foundations of my hat, of the top, sides. I have that empty space where I said we're going to put the elastic. So that's going to be my next step, to insert that elastic. I'm going to use the belt that I showed you, cut the elastic out of the back, and simply hot glue it in there. You guys hopefully were able to find a knee support like this. either at your local 99-cent store. I wouldn't spend too much money on one. I'm taking my elastic, hot glued one side down. Almost forgot to show you guys. And now I'm taking my other side of the elastic, putting some glue on it. Because I'm gonna give this hat to one of my lucky subscribers once I've reached 10,000 views, I'm going to actually take my thread, my needle, and I'm gonna actually do some stitching here just to make sure that the elastic is secure. Now we have that space filled with a piece of elastic, and we can start to see how the hat is going to look once you wear it. Not too tall like the last one. I already love it. Okay, so the next step is going to be for us to add the pieces of plastic around the perimeter. I'm going to be cutting the plastic into strips. I'm going to need about 12 strips in total, and each strip is going to be approximately 1.5 inches wide. So I have my plastic cut into strips, 12 strips, and now I'm going to be attaching them to the hat like so. So I'm going to attach it so that it touches the rim of the hat, bends a little, and goes down to the bottom edge of the hat. And I'm gonna do that all the way around the hat. Okay, so now we have the hat with the pieces of plastic that have been glued to the bottom and to the top of the hat, like so. And again, we can see the progress, how it looks. The next step is going to be to take the ribbon, which, as I stated before, I give a more in-depth tutorial on how to make this ribbon, and to glue it right around that edge, and another piece which will be glued at the top edge as well, and that's going to cover any excess glue that you have or something like that. Okay, so I braided my ribbon, have some extra. I've already glued it onto the hat, so now we can see what the hat looks like with the ribbon and everything on it. So I'm gonna put it on for you. And now we see the finished product of the hat for the Queen of Wakanda, Ramonda. Now, I wanted to say that if you just really were not able to do the braid, then you could also consider using some ribbon that's already decorated. So, for example, I found something similar to this sparkly one. I wouldn't use pink for this hat, but you could get something a little wider that's in black, that's already studded. You'd be amazed at the type of ribbons that you guys can find at your local fabric stores that are already embellished. You might find a ribbon that has a sparkle like this in black. There's all kinds of substitutes that you can use if you're unable to make the braid on your first time around. So don't be afraid to experiment and to give it a try. Okay, so here it is, the finished product. This is the crown for Ramonda, the Queen of Wakanda. I want to thank you all for watching my very first YouTube video, and I really hope that you found it helpful. If you liked it, please like it, please share it. Remember, we want to get to 10,000 views so that I can gift this crown to one of the subscribers out there.